This video is going to be looking at the 1.04 part of whole numbers for the Victorian Curriculum Year 7, and in this case we're looking at how technology can be used for the four main operations with whole numbers. So looking at the lesson to begin with, we can see that the buttons we need to press on our calculator, being the main piece of technology that we might use, are the numbers 0 through 9, the four symbols, so plus, minus, multiplication, division, the equals button, and of course we also might need the parentheses or brackets buttons. So I've got over here on the right hand side a simulation of a fairly standard calculator. Again, it may not be exactly what you have, and you might need to just look over your calculator carefully to find where each button is. But of course we have the main number buttons here. We won't be using the decimal point or the negative sign at this point. We have the four operations down the side. My equals button is called enter, and I also have the two parentheses buttons here just above the 8 and 9. So make sure you know where they are on each of your calculators that you're using. If you've got a fairly older style calculator or a very simple style calculator with only a single LED screen line, you may not have exactly the same output as I have here, but again, this is fairly standard, and if you're not sure, please ask for some help with your specific calculator. So when we are performing operations between two numbers, and it's always an operation between two numbers, whether it's on calculator or on paper, we need to press the buttons corresponding to the digits of the first number going from left to right. So just follow our normal BIDMAS or BODMAS as we would. We need to press the corresponding operation, so a number, then an operation, and then the second number, and of course the equal sign. So that is the fairly standard way of using a calculator. There's nothing too special about that. So let's go down and have a look at some examples. Now, one of the most common mistakes that people will make, and it's what's talked about in this section here, is A, not following BIDMAS or BODMAS, and also just making sure that you know how to use your calculator properly. And in most cases, you can do an operation, press the equals, and then immediately take that answer without typing it again and do the next operation. And we'll see that in the first sample here. So we'll scroll down and we'll have a look at this first question. So let's press try this problem. So we have here that Muhammad used his calculator to evaluate 11 times 25 minus 5 and got an answer of 567. So we need to find out, is this correct? So we have a look at the equation at the top here, and following our normal BIDMAS or BODMAS, we are going to do 11 times 25 first, and the answer of that is going to be taken, have 5 taken away from it. So we need to do that on our calculator. And we're going to do this initially without using parentheses or brackets. We could technically put brackets around in our calculator and do it as one equation, but let's keep it sort of simple for the moment. So we're going to do 11 multiplied by 25, and at that stage we're finishing our first operation, so we're going to press the equals, or in my case the enter button, and you can see I have an answer of 275. Now I want to immediately take 5 away from that answer. So I don't type 275 again, I press the take away or subtract button, and you can see I'm taking the answer that I previously have, so this answer here, and I'm now going to take away 5, so I press my 5 button. So it's saying take the answer from before and take away 5. Again, press my equals or answer, and I get 270. So here, Muhammad got 567, I got 270, so I'm certainly going to say that I think he was incorrect, so I'll say no. And I'll submit my answer, and we can see we got that correct. So now it wants us to think about what mistake Muhammad might have made when he entered the expression into his calculator. So he may have added an extra 0, he may have forgotten a 0, he didn't use the correct order of operations, he swapped the digits in a number, and he swapped some of the numbers. So which ones of these, or one, do we think he may have done? So let's see what happens if we first took 5 away from 25, and maybe he did it in the wrong order. So if he took 5 away, we would actually end up with 11 times 25. So I'm going to clear my calculator, so clear what's being done, and I'm going to do 25 minus 5, which of course will give me an answer of 20, and then I'm going to multiply that by 11 and press enter. So I still get 220, which is still well off what he's got there. So what else might he have done? So let's clear our calculator again. What if he did it right to begin with 11 times 25 and got this answer? And what about if he then multiplied by that by 5 again? No, he got 1375. So far, he doesn't look like he didn't use the correct order of operations. We tried that and we didn't get his answer. He might have swapped some numbers. I don't think he added any zeros necessarily, but maybe he did. Let's try that. So let's clear. What if we had 110 multiplied by 25? Well, we've got 2,750, so that's unlikely. And of course, we're going to get the same thing if we put a 0 on the 25. So I don't think it's that one. So add an extra 0, probably not. He didn't forget a 0 because there are no zeros there. He didn't use the correct order of operations. I don't think we have proved that's not true so far. He swapped the digits in a number. Now that's an interesting one. We might come back to that. And he swapped some of the numbers. So that could also be the case. So let's just try out of curiosity. 11 times 52. So we swap the numbers around. What do we get? Well, here we're getting 572. That's interesting. If we now take away the 5 from there, yes, we have the answer that he got. So it looks like he swapped the digits in a number. So we'll try that option and press submit. And we were correct. It was D where he swapped some numbers. Now, that's a little bit of a tricky question in the sense that you've got to sort of try different combinations to see which one he got. The simple fact is we know he got the wrong answer, and that's probably the most important thing. But we're trying to understand what sort of mistakes people might make. So, of course, typing in a wrong number, either flipping numbers around or putting them in the wrong place, is obviously going to get you quite a different answer than what you should. So let's close that one off and have a look at the next one. So scrolling back down to the questions. Actually, there was only one sample question there. So there you go. We've had a little go at the calculators. Let's just have a look at that quickly if we were to use parentheses, because it wasn't really done in the sample. So we'll stick with what's on the screen here. So we'll do, instead of doing, I'll just clear my screen here. So 16 times 85 equals, so 1,360, and then minus 2, we're going to get an answer of 1,358. Okay, so we're going to remember that. If I do it with the parentheses, I can go brackets or parentheses, 16 times 85, close my brackets, minus 2. So I can write the whole equation out in one step and press enter, and I get the same result. I can also just write it out as it is here, because the calculator will of course follow correct BIDMAS or BODMAS. So 16 times 85 minus 2 will still come out correctly because the calculator knows the correct order. But if I want to do this 85 minus 2 first, I would of course have to use the parentheses. So let's say I wanted to do 16 times 85 minus 2, I would definitely have to put the brackets in, or the parentheses, to make sure the calculator did the 85 minus 2 first before multiplying that answer by 16. So you can see we can either do each step ourselves with our calculator, or we can sometimes write the whole equation out and let the calculator solve it completely. Which one is more efficient, again, is up to you. If you need to have parts of the answer along the way for part of the question, then of course doing it bit by bit is more efficient. But if you just need to get the final answer, as long as you type it in correctly and in a way that your calculator understands, then of course you can get the final answer. So that's all we're going to look at in this video. Probably went a bit longer than I intended for such a simple topic, but you can now go off and have a go at the questions that you've been assigned.